Hey you guys, what's going on? Jumbo Kaale here, Beauty No Filter. One of the most common complaints I get from women when they're doing their own makeup, whether it's in private one-on-ones or when I'm actually doing their makeup, is they don't know how to apply eyeshadow on their hooded eyelid. What happens is they put the color on, they open their eyes, and you can't see the shadow anymore. So if that's you, make sure you keep watching this video. I'm gonna give you 3 tricks to apply makeup if you have hooded eyelids. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need is the right brush to apply your transition color. I would recommend, if you don't already have this type of brush in your kit, to go out and grab one. You can get them anywhere from Target. I've seen them at Rite Aid. These are my 4 Morphe brushes. These are the types of brushes that you need to apply the transition color. I also use these brushes to apply the all over color, the transition, and the darkest shadow that's going on my eye. So if you're using it correctly, you can get all 3 applications out of one brush. The other thing you need is a good transition color. You don't want something that's too light. So in this palette that I created for today's video, this shadow I'm putting all over my eye, and I'm using this guy for my transition color. Transition color is like the medium shade in your palette. So I have a couple palettes here. I'm going to show you what colors I would use from the palette as my transition color, just to give you an idea, because if you're going too dark, you're not going to get the look that you're after. So in this palette, this is another Morphe palette. My God, you would think this was sponsored by Morphe, but it's not. But in this palette, I would use that one, that one, that one for my transition colors. Any one of those 3. The other ones have shimmer in it. You do not want to use a shadow with a shimmer for your transition color. The shimmer is usually for just below your eyebrow or on your actual lid. I would not use a shimmer as a transition color. So out of this palette, because these ones have shimmer in them, I would use these 3. Now out of this Born This Way palette, this is one of my favorites. They set this up pretty well so that you know which colors are really the transition color. This guy right here is the all over color, and it kind of fades to the darkest. So the transition colors are right here in the middle, which is what I would use for the transition. I use this one a lot. This one's a little too light for me, but on somebody with more fair skin, this would probably show up really great as a transition color. But I usually use that one or that one. Okay, my Huda Beauty palette, this guy right here, look at all those pretty colors. You got a ton of transition colors in this palette. You could use that one. You could use any of those. That would make a great transition color. This would be a little too light for me, but it could probably work for somebody more fair, or even if you have deep skin, this would probably show up really well on you. But any of these would really work great as transition colors. So you usually work with 3 different shades on your eyes. You use the all over color, which is usually a cream or beige. You use the transition color, which is a medium shade, and then you come in with the darkest. You can use the darkest either on the outer corners, or you could use it all over your lid. But the transition color is usually a halfway color, medium. It's not too dark, not too light. It's gonna show up really well. For this video, I created this palette. This is what I'm gonna wear for today. I'm using this color as all over on my eyelid. And as you can see, I'm using the brush that I'm gonna use for my transition. But I'm gonna use this to apply. There's no color on this brush, so I can come into that lightest color and apply it all over my lid. So for the transition color, I'm coming into this. This is obviously one of my favorites for a transition. I've already hit the pan on it, but I'm gonna use that for today. The third thing you need to do when applying a transition color for hooded eyelids is you wanna make sure you are going up high enough on your actual eye. When I'm doing one-on-one with clients and I'm having them apply the makeup to themselves and I'm just kind of helping guide them to put it in the right place, when it comes to the transition color, the most common thing I see women do is this. They get it right in the center of their eye, right in that crease, and then they stop. They think they're done. So even with me, I don't have a hooded eye, but I have a really deep set eye. My orbital bone is really deep. So when I open my eye, you can't even really see that color. So this is the biggest mistake you are making when you're applying the transition color. You have to make sure you're going up high enough. So load your brush up. Now, wherever you place the brush is gonna be the heaviest amount of color. So I always start in the crease, doing a windshield wiper motion, and then slowly start to bring it up, but I want you to pay attention to how high I'm coming up on my eyelid with that color, because I want to make sure people can see that color. And that's the biggest complaint about women with hooded eyelids, is you can't see the shadow once you apply it. So I'm going to bring it up high enough, and I want you to see how high I'm bringing my brush. It's right below my eyebrow. I'm not touching my eyebrow, but I'm bringing it up just below it. So when I'm doing my one-on-ones, I have to tell, you know, the client that I'm working with, bring it up higher. And they'll bring it up a little bit, and I'm like, no, you gotta go a little higher. And they'll bring it up a little bit, and I'm like, nope, you still gotta go higher, girl. And it's just very uncomfortable for women to bring it up that high. I think the fear is that if you go too high, you're gonna look like a clown. But if you are using the right transition color, it's a good medium mix between the lightest and the darkest on your eye, you will not look like a clown. So make sure you got the right brush so it's, you know, diffusing the color very well. Make sure you're using the right color so it's not too heavy and not too light where you can actually see it. And make sure you're bringing it up high enough on your eyelid so that you can actually see it. Like, it might even look like the brush is touching my eyebrow. It's not, but I am very close to it. Just doing a windshield washer motion, windshield wiper motion, going back and forth. I want my crease to be where it's the darkest, and then slowly bringing it up. So there, now when my eyes are open, you can see some of that pink on my actual eyelid. I'm gonna go to the next darker color, which is this guy right here, and I'm gonna apply that just to my crease. I'm not gonna go any higher. So from here you can see that my eyelid goes from darker to lighter. And so now when you come in with the darkest color, you have to decide whether you want to put it all over your lid, or if you're going for a more sleek cat eye effect, just putting it on the outer corner. So I'm going to show you both ways. For just the outer corner, for that sleek cat eye effect, you can come in with the same brush you used to apply your lightest color, your transition, and I'm going to come in and apply this, the darkest color, just to the outer corner. Not going too far on my eyelid. You're gonna take that dark color right to your crease and a little bit past it. You don't wanna cover up the transition color, but you do wanna make sure that you can see that darkest color. All right, so there's that. Okay, now on this eye, I'm gonna show you how it looks when you use the darkest color all over the lid. And this is what I would recommend if you have a hooded eyelid. So now this time I'm using a more tightly packed brush again, but it's got more surface to it so I can apply more color, excuse me. And it's gonna come out really dark and pigmented by using this really tight brush. And I'm just gonna swipe it all over my lid. Again, the first place you touch with that brush, with that color packed on, is gonna be the darkest, so I tend to start right in the center. I don't want the darkest to be on my inner eye, I want it to be in the center of my eye. And I'm bringing that right into my crease so it marries into the other colors I've used. And so there, you can see the difference. This one, my eye looks more almond shaped, whereas this makes my eye look more rounded. Okay, so I did come in and do my other eye using the shadow all over my lid because I do have stuff to do today and I don't want to go out looking cray-cray. Okay, so this is the finished look. I just have to add my lips, but hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments after watching this video, please post them below, private message me. Be sure to share this video with anybody you think might find value in it, but I hope you guys are having a great day and I'll see you all soon. Ciao, Bellas.